Mr. Ben Bain is from the Defense Innovation Board, and it's an advisory board in the Office of the Secretary of Defense. It's a SecDef established federal advisory committee that provides independent advice and recommendations to the Department of Defense on how the department can better accelerate innovation, be it new technologies, culture change, or approaches to address current and future national security challenges. Again, speaking for myself, the DIB is something I've heard a lot about. Eric Schmidt actually came to the Naval Postgraduate School and talked to us a little bit about it, but just from the operational level, I guess I would say I know very little about it. So Ben, really appreciate you taking the time to come talk about what you do and what the organization does. So without further ado, Ben, we'll kick it over to you.
Hey, thanks, Lucas. Appreciate it. All right, going to get started here. So good afternoon and good morning, everyone. I'm excited to share with you a little bit about the Defense Innovation Board, affectionately known as the DIB. You may have heard of us. We're a pretty big deal in very, very, very small circles. So my name is Ben Bain, spelled B-A-I-N, not B-A-N-E. And this is me having turned an old Army tan t-shirt into a 5-layer coronavirus defender. I've been on the DIB staff for about 2 years, mostly working on issues related to DoD's digital workforce. So what is the DIB? We're a federal advisory committee established in 2016 by Secretary of Defense Ash Carter to provide independent advice and recommendations. The DIB presents its work in the form of publicly released reports and recommendations about 4 times a year. We've moved around a bit since we started, but right now we proudly sit in the office of the Undersecretary of Research and Engineering within OSD, together with such innovation pillars as the Defense Innovation Unit, DIU, the National Security Innovation Network, Ensign, and DARPA. With the full support of our leadership, we still address issues across the whole department, though. We exist to help the department better accelerate innovation, be it through technologies, culture change, or structure and process, to address current and future national security challenges. We often quote our chairman who said, DoD does not have an innovation problem, it has an innovation adoption problem. So why should anyone listen to us? Well, it's not because we have money and authority, because we don't. It's because we have outstanding, really awesome board members. DIB's membership represents a cross-section of business leaders, entrepreneurs, academics, and technologists with diverse perspectives. Over the last 4 years, we visited DoD installations around the world and earned credibility by listening, building genuine relationships, and offering sometimes hard-hitting recommendations. We also have a full-time staff who in normal times sits in the Pentagon. We've got GS civilians, military and civilian detailees, contractors and IPAs, a motley hard-working crew. We're doing the day-to-day work, gathering information, sharing ideas, and connecting people. We won't give you Neil deGrasse Tyson's personal email, but we might be able to get him interested in your work. Our Science and Technology Subcommittee has mostly focused on digital technologies, such as cloud, modern software development, and artificial intelligence. DoD is far behind industry in many of these areas, and DIB continues to push hard for DoD to improve its digital capabilities at scale. We've had some pretty big wins in these areas. We helped establish the Joint AI Center, the JAIC. In one of our earliest recommendations, we called for that, Center of Excellence. Our year-long study on software development and acquisition is all over recent NDAAs and is being implemented by Ellen Lord, the Undersecretary for Acquisition and Sustainment. And our recommendations on the ethical use of AI, developed over 14 months with input from dozens of global experts, were recently adopted by the department. We also have a workforce, behavior, and culture subcommittee. In this area, we've put a lot of focus on digital and innovation talent, as well as innovation training and frameworks, such as lean startup and design thinking. DoD needs to better develop and empower its people to adapt quickly and think creatively. And this is the subcommittee that I primarily support. So how do we decide on projects? We try to balance being responsive to demand signals in the department with identifying blind spots in which DoD is falling behind industry or strategic competitors. So sometimes it's a pull and sometimes it's a push. We take ideas from all over, board members, senior DoD leaders, and even Congress. Importantly, though, we can also be a voice for all the innovators and entrepreneurs struggling against a slow-moving, rigid system. We have the platform to articulate challenges no one seems to be addressing and to highlight and celebrate teams who are finding creative ways to improve their mission outcomes. This is the power of our connected ecosystem. As just one example, our board members heard for years from active duty service members that outside of cyber, there were very few opportunities in any of the services to develop and apply digital expertise, such as software development or AI/ML. Once these talented folks hit the limit of their frustration, they simply left for the private sector. So we took it upon ourselves to explore why DoD is struggling to attract, develop, and retain active duty digital talent. We got incredible input from junior innovators captured in the anonymized stories detailing how the system has failed them. We have to do better. Our recommendation called Workforce Now offers immediate actions to support and protect the very people we most need to keep. Talking to the DoD innovation ecosystem here, all of you listening in, we being the DIB, cannot be effective without really understanding what you're doing and what challenges you're facing. So stay in touch, share your stories with us. We could use your ideas for new recommendations and your input on our current projects. And speaking of current projects, these are two areas we're looking into. So if you're working on either of these things, or you know someone who is working on these things within the department, please get in touch. Let us know. Another two areas we're looking into on my side of the team: how might we make better use of our reservists with digital skills? And how might we offer a shared understanding of innovation to guide DoD's development, assessment, and integration of efforts? Come talk to us if you have ideas. To close, never underestimate the importance of questioning the status quo. Some of you may recognize this photo, but one of our best moments for DIB came when we visited the Air Operations Center at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. Our chairman, Eric Schmidt, saw a group of men working on a big whiteboard. He asked them what they were up to. Turns out they were planning by hand air refueling operations for the entire area. This was an easily solved problem using modern software, but the software the team had access to didn't work and contracting didn't allow them to fix it. This is the kind of thing that is keeping DoD from reaching its full potential. Ultimately, Eric's question led to the establishment of the Air Force's Kessel Run software development team. For the full story, look up the Fast Company article on how the Air Force learned to code. So check out our website at innovation.defense.gov to see all our past recommendations and for information on upcoming public meetings. The next one should be the end of June. And don't be shy about emailing me if you have any questions or ideas. Thank you.
Ben, really appreciate you talking about the DIB. And that was one of the things Mr. Schmidt talked about when he came out to NPS was the start of Kessel Run based on that small problem, and now look at Kessel Run and everything they've done throughout the DoD. So really appreciate that and providing more information.